Hello, growers. If you enjoy podcasts like this one, tune into my podcast In Search of Soil on YouTube for a deep dive into the mysteries beneath our feet. Join me as I explore topics such as mycorrhizal fungi, mushrooms, compost, biochar, and more. It's a soil nerd's dream. We're going deep. We're talking to scientists about all things soil related. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or a gardener just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Check out In Search of Soil on YouTube. For a lichen that grows on the side of a rock, what's the ecological function of that? What is it doing in the zoomed out, long geological timescale to that ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a good question. What they think about is it's just increasing biodiversity. It grows there, but in fact, when you have wet periods, insects will eat it. In Idaho here, I've seen wet days when the sheep will scrape the lichens off the rocks and eat them. So they contribute to food value. Sometimes there's quite a few animals that eat lichens, flying squirrels, deer, elk, and it's often thought that they are eating them just like you or I might eat potato chips because they satisfy some minor nutrients that we crave, like salt, phosphates, things like that. Lichens tend to be almost 200 times higher in phosphates, nitrogen, some of those things than many other plant tissues.
Why is that?
They don't have waxy outer coating or stomata to regulate what comes in and out. So lichens, particularly up in a tree, they're just a sponge. They absorb all kinds of nutrients out of the air. In fact, like when were atomic test trials in Russia, it contaminated lichens in Alaska from the air drift of the radioactivity. The radioactivity didn't go into a lot of the vascular plant. And if it did, it cycled out quickly. But with the lichens, they concentrated. And then the Eskimos were eating the caribou that ate the lichens and were getting real high doses of radiation from the concentration up the food chain of radiation. So they just absorb, they're just like a sponge sitting there taking in anything. They take in air pollution, that's why they're good indicators of sulfur dioxide, nitric oxides, those sorts of things. They don't really differentiate. They just get all in and hang on to it.
Is that the algal component or the fungal component that drives that?
More the fungal component.
So they're like scrubbers of the air and bioaccumulators. Yeah. So eventually, like they either fall off the rock, they get knocked off the rock, they get consumed. Whatever consumes it then redistributes those nutrients through its feces or through its body when it eventually recycles back.
And to fully answer your question from what's the lichen on a rock, which is a pretty passive organism, it has two main functions. One is that insects or small mammals or mammals can directly eat it when it's moist usually. Or secondly, when they're moist, they absorb water, of course, and they help retain moisture like a sponge on that rock. And so they freeze and they contribute to the erosion of the rock. That's one of the famous attributes of a lichen, to actually form soil from hard rocks. And that depends a lot on the type of rock. I see soft rocks like, some of the rocks in the Canyonlands area of Utah. They get lichens on them and the lichens grow for 2 or 3 years and then they peel off and they take with it 4 or 5 millimeters of sandstone with them. So they're helping erode the rock very quickly. Well, granite rocks, you might have a lichen that's growing on there that's 6,000 years old. And it may be breaking the rock down, but at definitely a very slow pace.
Is it that thaw freeze cycle that's breaking it down, or is the fungi putting enzymes into the rock help it break apart?
A little bit of both, but mostly probably the physical frost heaving. And if the lichen wasn't there, the moisture would drain off the rock. Hey. But because it's there, it holds that moisture long and causes the frost to have a larger impact on the rock feature.
The biological incentive for the lichen to fall off, can it then be carried somewhere else to reproduce?
It can be, and it can just contribute to plain soil formation. It can be eaten, but it's sometimes people think of these crustose lichens on a granitic rock as been growing in toward each other, having a little battle over who can own the other one, like a slow motion battlefield.
Like two totally different types.
Two different species trying to grow over each other.
What
Usually one has an advantage. Advantage is either faster growing or a chemical advantage. And lichens have over 1,000 chemicals that they produce that are unique to and they only produce those unique lichen acids, they're called, when they're in the lichenized state. People have taken the two organisms and separated them and grown them on agar or whatever, or in liquid medium, and they will not produce those chemicals. They only produce the chemicals as a unit.
Hello, growers. Say goodbye to heavy sandbags and hello to Modern Growers Quick Hoops Low Tunnels. Protect your plants from pests, wind, rain, and frost without the hassle of sandbags or flimsy hoops. Our patented design eliminates the need for clamps and ropes, while the unique wire system keeps covers secure yet easily accessible. Tested in the strong winds of New Zealand for over 20 years, Quick Hoops are light, strong, portable, and versatile. Most importantly, they're designed for field use. These aren't some lightweight system that only looks great in a greenhouse. Our hoops are designed to last in harsh field conditions. Use them with any covering to grow year-round and safeguard your crops. Shade cloth, frost blanket, insect net, clear poly, no problem. Quick Hoops can handle them. Get Quick Hoops today at shop.moderngrower.co and protect your crops for years to come.